definitely, I think it's a good idea to kind of, look for your colleagues and other people around you. Jan, thank you very much. We'll get back to you soon in the questions session. I'll just we'll move now to Dr. Jan Welter. Jan, I know your microphone is working. You?
Hi guys, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I am good. I guess fail it till you nail it sometimes applies to technology because I've still been trying to nail this for about an hour now and I'm still failing. But, hopefully you fail forward and we will go forward even though you can't see my wonderful face.
Sure. So I want to, on a personal note, I want to really thank you for being here. This industry needs more women, and I'm really happy to have you. I know you also are motivational and a speaker around the world. So we would love to hear more about your story and your failure and what we can learn from you in this session.
It's funny. I would humbly tell all of you I'm still working on nailing it because I think that a career is made not by the easy stuff, but by the hard stuff. And for all of us that have played in women's football, I still think of us sometimes as continually trying our best to break through in a space that we were told was not for us and never for us. And kind of when you asked me this question, I was overwhelmed because not that I had one failure, but because there are so many. And I think that would resonate with so many people because you might make it look easy, but that doesn't mean it's not hard. And it doesn't mean it's not hard in very big and small ways. For me personally, in thinking about this, I go back to playing on the first U.S. national team. So here you are, you get a call. That's one of the best calls you could ever get in your life as an athlete. Congratulations, you are one of the best 45 players in the United States, and you will have a chance to play for your country. And you'll be on the first ever national team in football. Now, here's what you've got to do. You're going to have to take a month off work, and you're going to have to cut us a check for $3,000. Now, as women playing what was known as America's game and never having actually cashed a check for playing women's football, this was kind of one of those shocking moments, right? You don't even know how you're going to do it. You don't know how you're going to come up with it. But what you do know, or what I did know, and I know all my teammates did, is it was something you couldn't pass up either. It was never even a possibility when we started playing because there was no Team USA. And now, how are you going to do it? There's no dollars behind women in football. There still isn't. There's never been a major sponsor. And I remember just hustling and fundraising and doing all the things that you would see maybe a high school sports team doing to go to playoffs. We're doing car washes and asking people for, this donation or that donation, hat in hand, just trying to make it. And so we make it. And we go overseas. The first Women's World Championship was in Stockholm, Sweden. Team USA won. Our defense was not even scored upon. And for those of us who have been trying to break ground for so many years, it seemed like this was finally it. We won a gold medal. We were bringing it back to the United States. And this had to be the moment when finally people would realize that we were the best in the world and deserved to be celebrated. And we came back and we couldn't even get local affiliates of news stations to cover the story. We found out that even winning a gold medal wasn't enough to really get people interested in women playing football. And was it that it was women playing football or was it women's sports in general? And it was this moment of just absolute letdown. You've done so much to go and to win overseas and to represent and to fundraise, and you sacrifice time away from your family and all of these things. And what people didn't realize is I used to say it was the final frontier for women in sports. And yet, though we won often, we were winning every time we played. And I didn't know really how to keep going, but I knew that I still had work to do. And I lovingly say that, we went through the same exercise in 2013, winning another gold medal. The same thing, though I was much more outspoken at that point, because I remember the first time we did it, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to tell the story that, women were playing the same game, but not for the same dollars. And yet in 2013, doing the same thing and getting the same call, I was a lot more ticked off. And I actually blogged about it and was more open about the fact that we were having to pay to represent our country. And I fundraised that one through donations and through people caring, and somebody saying, well, here's $50, here's $1, here's $200, and will you take us on your journey? And so now I'm writing and playing. And still, when we got back, I remember writing this beautiful story on the women in playing football and how diversity was a strength, and we were doing this for our country, and the beauty of being red, white, and blue, and trying and pushing it to every outlet I could think of, with no press help, with no big name behind me. And we couldn't even get the story published on ESPNW, which to me was hugely disconcerting. And the way that I finally broke through is when I played on the men's team. I played a season on the Texas Revolution, and though at 5'2", 130 pounds, it was the last thing that I should have done, it was the first thing that I was willing to do, because what I realized is that nobody really gave a damn about women playing tackle football until I was willing to be tackled by men.
I see. So it seems like, you really, I think in generally speaking, this is the failure of an industry and, countries that are not, giving enough, funds and place and, to women in several industries, several sectors. But I think, like at this point today, you are traveling around and also sharing, spreading the word. So I think this is also another winning that you get to touch a lot of people, companies' hearts, and hopefully help promote this the industry as well.
It's so important, and even I still see a lot of it today, and people say, oh, well, you're traveling and you're speaking, but even things like getting my book published was a fight. It got turned down by every publisher, and their feedback was, well, women in football doesn't sell. And having been the first female to coach in the NFL, I finally had the position to be able to say, well, I'm pretty sure I was the first. So how many times have you tried? And I think that really it's about fortitude, and that's any entrepreneur. I took my hits physically on the field, but also in the business world and in believing in something before people even saw it. And I see all of the areas in our society where we're talking about the need for equality and the lack of female role models, and it's not that they're not there. It's just that, we're not as highlighted, and we don't have the opportunities, whether it's through the dollars that are put behind women in sports, or even the positions and the voices on these panels. It's not that the women aren't there. It's just that they haven't, up until this point, had as many opportunities to share those stories and the visibility of the platform. And I think that that's why I'm so stubborn and outspoken now.
Yeah. Do you think it's changed? Like did you see the change throughout the years, through your work and through your knowledge in the industry?
Yes, absolutely. It was not even a whisper of a shadow of a thought of a possibility that a woman could coach in the NFL all those years when I was playing, even as one of the best in the world. But I still think we have further to go in sports than in anywhere else in our society. You know, I never once cashed a check as in women's football to play America's game, and to me, that's a stark it's a stark reality. You know, and there are so many great women out there doing great things, and you know, it really took along the way. It took amazing men betting on me for those doors to open. And I tell women that all the time is um, I am a woman who's for men because men have been for me. I'm actually just for being a great human and for recognizing talent despite the package that it's in. Um, but one of the secrets to my success was that I worked very well with guys, and they taught me how to do it. Because if a room is locked from the inside and there are only men in the room, then a man has to open the door for you. It's no secret.
Yeah.
And so I think that truly the next evolution in our society is not women over men or women at the expense of men, but it's men and women working together to ensure that there are diverse voices at every table.
I couldn't agree less. And I think, you know, what you're doing is amazing. Again, opening, as you said, opening the doors and even being a role model for other women and players around the world and in other countries as well. I know coming from